It can only be attributable to human error.
You're entering paranormal.
He meddled in things that should be
Where will we go next? This phantom from another time.
No one but tomorrow.
That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over.
That is one big pile of shit.
Hello, welcome to Cryptid Campfire, everybody.
Oh, we're recording right now?
Yeah, this week we're talking about something special.
Ooh.
We are not talking about something sad.
Oh.
Or anything as controversial as the Bronze Age. Instead, we are talking about...
The
El
Wendigo.
Oh, wait, what?
We've time traveled back to episode 2 and we're redoing it.
We are following a winter theme for the month of December. So
Yes, Merry
today
Christmas.
Hey, you can hear the sleigh bells in the air.
Sleigh bells jingling.
ring ting tingling to
Peppino, the Italian mouse.
should we start over?
Hell
No,
no, we're going
we're
in
going.
for it.
All
Hey
right.
everybody, you're listening to Cryptid Campfire. My name is Alex Daikaiju. To my left is,
Jasmine with
and across from me is,
I just finished my chocolate milk.
and we are Cryptid Campfire.
Eli had his chocolate milk.
That's your new name. I just finished my chocolate milk.
Yes, sir.
Today we're talking about the Wendigo.
What is that?
Well,
Ooh.
it's got many pronunciations. First of all, Wendigo, whatever.
Oh, you wanna- you-
Imbago?
You guys want to read some of my... I have it here. Where is it? I have a bunch of names for it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it does have a lot of names.
Oh, here we go. Wendigo, 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 Windgo, Wendigo again, and Windigo.
Yes.
Wendigo.
Those are just some of them. I quit. Right.
And Winnebago.
So I have two definitions, and I wanted to include both of them. So I went first to our trusty source, good old Google, and typed in define Wendigo, and it is defined as a cannibalistic giant, a person who has been transformed into a monster by the consumption of human flesh, being in the folklore of some northern Algonquian peoples. I also looked on Merriam-Webster, and it defines the Wendigo as it's essentially the same, but a little more detailed. A cannibalistic creature of Algonquian mythology believed to have been a lost hunter forced by hunger to eat human flesh, and thereafter to have become a crazed, man-eating ogre roaming the forest.
Dope. I also have... I hate to do this to you. I really hate to
Here
do
we
this.
go.
What?
You kept saying Algonquian. I looked up how to pronounce it because it just blew my mind. I did not have
What is it?
Algonquian.
Algonquian. Alright, so it's a key instead of qui. I believe you. Algonquian.
I wrote it like how you say it, so...
Alright, I got you. I
Yeah,
apologize.
So I just don't want to offend no tribes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about Russians.
So not
Oh, wow.
So, like, I'll just butcher their names, but when it comes to the tribes...
Algonquian, not
Algonquian.
Algonquian.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
No, that's
so
right, but-
these people are Native Americans. They once lived all along the Atlantic coast in the Great Lakes region. So that's who we're talking about. That's the area we're talking about.
And some of Canada.
Yes.
I have the tribes. I have the names.
Go for
Ooh,
it.
name drop.
That's your catchphrase.
Apparently.
Wait a second. Where'd they go?
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go. Ha! Found them. Ojibwe, Salto, Naskapi, Innu, and the Cree. So I've only heard of the Cree before, like in my previous life.
When they make decrees.
That's how bad that joke was.
I almost killed Jasmine with it.
Pardon me. I should have taken
So,
a
yeah.
sip of water.
Atlantic Coast area, Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm, yes.
They're quite widespread, actually. Very large.
So these tribes call the Wendigo the spirit of lonely places, and they blame a lot of unsolved disappearances at the turn of the 20th century on Wendigo attacks. Wendigo itself means the evil spirit that devours mankind. Alex, do you have anything that talks about what the Wendigo actually looks like? Do you have a physical description for it?
I do. Also, I was going to say, what was the name of the Wendigo again? What does it mean?
It's the The evil spirit that devours mankind.
So it's McDonald's nickname.
Oh my gosh. You made me go back to that for a
Yes.
joke.
Yes, ma'am.
That's like all Alex does. It's just...
So, the Wendigo, I have a description from one Basil Johnston. He's
Basil?
Basil?
I got his name's spelled like Basil. That's how I
Oh my
say
gosh, I just remembered there was a kid named Basil in my like 6th grade class.
What?
And
How did you spell it?
I don't even remember. I just know that we were not friends.
Was his last name Johnston?
I don't think so.
We should call him up and ask him about
I
the Wendigo.
would rather not.
Okay. Well, he is a Ojibwe teacher and scholar from Ontario,
That's
Canada.
not California.
Gives a description of a Wendigo. The Wendigo was gaunt to the point of emaciation.
Mm-hmm.
Its desecrated skin pulled tightly over its bones. With its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death. Its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. The Wendigo looked like a gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. What lips it had were tattered and bloody. Unclean and suffering from suppurations of the flesh, the Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption.
So did this dude see one? Is that where this description's coming from?
That's the description passed down.
Okay.
From the tribes, yeah, probably.
Gotcha.
It's also like the description of Paris Hilton.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow!
Eli, that is going to be so loud when you go to edit this.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. It peaked. It peaked.
It's gonna blow your speakers out.
Make sure you turn this up as loud as possible.
Yeah, but only at that one point. Play it for a group of kindergartners.
So the Wendigo also supposedly has supernatural powers, including stealth. He's a perfect hunter. He knows and uses every inch of its territory. And he can control the weather through the use of dark magic.
Whoa, wait.
Ooh.
You're whoa. How
This-
does a Wendigo work themselves up to that level?
They play a
They
lot of
eat
D&D.
lots of people.
And they live for a really long time.
Ooh.
Because here we
And
go.
that's a pretty long time.
It's
forever.
For a very long time.
He also has exceptional eyesight, hearing, and a sense of smell. They move with the speed of the wind and have the ability to walk across deep snow or even over open water without sinking.
Hey, what if he's the guy who did Day Outlaw Pass?
Oh my gosh! It was a Wendigo!
I don't believe
It makes sense.
Oh
it.
man.
Makes sense.
New theory.
New theory?
Yeah, we solved it again.
Okay.
If you want to know what we're referring to, listen to the last episode.
So, this is what I got.
Okay.
For El Wendigo here.
El Wendigo?
El Wendigo, since we're not doing El Chupacabra this week.
Oh.
I was severely misinformed. I'm just kidding.
The Wendigo is a green animal that eats
Yeah, right.
sucks goats and has no
False.
genitalia.
It was
False,
first
false,
seen
false.
in 1995. I'm just kidding. So it's described as a giant, many times larger than a human, but only in certain tribes is it described like that. But this is what I thought was interesting. So whenever a Wendigo eats a person, it grows in proportion to the meal it just ate, so it stays starving all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's simultaneously gluttonous and constantly starving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah,
Interesting.
it can curse people by possessing them.
So when it if it eats like a 6-foot person, it gets 6 feet,
I'm not sure.
or like
Just like,
what if it,
I don't know the mathematical.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say if he's like a big fat person, does it get fat and then wilt
Well, he
away
stays
again?
he stays skinny.
Yeah,
He's a
what-
gaunt.
what's proportionate? Like, if he
Don't-
eats a
don't ask
bison,
me.
does he get like 4 legs and become all big?
Do
Like-
I look like the Wendigo expert here?
Maybe.
I
Yeah?
thought this was about the Chupacabra.
Oh damn!
No, you didn't.
Cat's out of the bag. We got sources.
We got sources. So the legend is that the Wendigo's this supernatural being. It's strongly associated with winter in the north, coldness, famine, and starvation. Now, when I was looking at my many sources for this creature, I got literally four different backstories to the Wendigo about where it came from or how it was formed or if it has always existed and things like that. Did you guys find one or more or multiple?
I found 2.
You found 2? What were your 2?
I can't believe you want me to bring that up.
What?
I'm joking. So I got a tale.
So he's still recovering from it.
A tale of a lost hunter. Let's see. During a brutally cold winter, his intense hunger drove him to cannibalism. After feasting on human flesh, he became a crazed monster, roaming the forest in search of more people to eat.
Okay, so the hunter.
Oh, here we go. It was originally a spirit, but then it became physical.
Okay.
So it was the spirit of the Wendigo, because there's also stories that it can possess people, turning them into Wendigos. There's a whole thing on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are like the 2. I got another one that you said too, but welcome to the parallel dimension. All right, Jasmine, what were you going to say?
Spell it out for us.
So in the research that I did, I found kind of 4 origin stories of where the Wendigo came from or how it was formed or how they come to be and things like that. And before I go into detail about those 4, it is important to note that when we're talking about cannibalism regarding to the Wendigo, we are mainly talking about the cannibalism that you have to resort to when you are stranded and starving and going to be dying. We're not talking about just crazy people who decide to start eating human flesh. We're talking about people who are trying
they crazy though?
To survive.
Are they crazy? No,
Or are we
I
the
don't know.
crazy ones?
I don't know.
Are we the crazy?
So version 1 of the legend that I found is that all the Wendigo were once human beings and they turned into Wendigo, which also, I don't know how to pronounce the plural of Wendigo. I saw a spelling of it and it looked weird. I don't know what the proper term is.
I just say Wendigos.
I know, but it was like Wendigoag or something.
Wendigoag.
Wendigonads?
Anyways, when a person consumes the flesh of another human being, he or she is believed to be overcome by evil spirits and be transformed into a Wendigo. That's one version. Version 2 is that the first Wendigo was said to have been a warrior who made a deal with the devil. In order to save his tribe, he gave up his soul and then was transformed into a Wendigo. Version 3 is that they are not and never were human at all, that they're from another dimension. Savage, dangerous creatures.
Parallel dimension?
Yes. Savage, dangerous creatures that will eat a human on sight. And version 4, which is the most common, is that the Wendigo is an evil supernatural spirit or energy that embodies starvation, hunger, famine, as well as gluttony and cannibalism. So I'll go into a little more detail about each of those. So going back to version 1, being that they were once human beings, this was relevant and I don't want to say most believable, but it was relevant because Indians and settlers often found themselves stranded in the snows and the ice of the North Woods, so cannibalism was more likely than you would think, like I mentioned. And in this theory, it's believed that the human can still live within the Wendigo, where its heart should be.
Huh?
I heard that as well.
But the person stays frozen.
Yeah.
And the only way to kill the Wendigo is to kill the human within it as well.
That's like their weak
I heard that
spot.
in one case someone was rescued.
Yes, yeah. So it does say that sometimes the frozen person can be successfully rescued.
But most of the time you just have to kill them.
Yes, in most cases, death is the only way to free a person from the Wendigo.
Like a video game.
Perhaps.
The only way to save everybody is to kill them all.
When you gotta say, when someone's a vampire, you just kill them to release their soul.
Yeah.
Unless you can find the head vampire.
So version
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes if you kill the head vampire who turned your loved one into a vampire, once the head vampire is killed, the spell is lifted.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So version 2, there's not much about version 2. It was there was a significantly less amount of information about this warrior who made a deal with the devil. But when peace ensued, there was no need for him to be this fearful creature anymore. And so instead of being turned back into a human, he was banished from his tribe and forced to live as an outcast and, feast on human flesh for the rest of eternity.
Damn, that's rough.
The weird one about being from another dimension was interesting. I didn't find a lot of sources that talked about it being from another dimension, but it said that they only stay in this world for a short period of time, like literally a few hours is how long the Wendigo are in our dimension. It's like they're here, they eat somebody, and then they're gone. And when they
Dine and dash.
Take me on a date first.
Literally, though, it's said that they'll vanish if they venture too far from where they crossed over into our world. And even if the Wendigo is killed while it's in our dimension, its body will vanish. Because it's not, I don't know, it vanishes from this world.
Okay.
But this is the version of the myth that I think Eli said something about earlier, that when they eat a human, that it transforms into something even more dangerous, bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
The new Daft Punk album?
Yeah.
All those adjectives are in a song, yes.
They were singing about the Wendigo.
Again, maybe.
Well, I don't know what version of the story this falls in, but some say he walks fast and some say he walks slow. So
is that what you found?
Yeah,
Wendigo?
some say he walks like he's falling apart.
Oh, that makes
he's
sense.
called Shambly.
Because he is pretty gaunt.
He's pretty
kinda-
gaunt.
He's
I also got that
strumbling his way around.
hunting people. As far as when he hunts people, it's not just like ooh, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna chase you.
I'm gonna eat ya.
I'm gonna eat ya one
He's
way.
like he hangs out in the woods close to villages or something like that, and he mimics people's voices.
Yes.
People that you know, to lure you out there.
You should come to the woods. Yeah, come on.
Oh no, dude.
No way.
No, dude.
No. Come on.
There's also ceremonial dances to ward off Wendigos.
Uh-huh.
I think the last one was in Kansas.
Okay.
So, speaking of Ohio, I'm glad that
What?
you brought that up.
Ohio.
What?
Just kidding. Well,
Go Huskies.
apparently there's some serious Bigfoot hoaxes in Ohio. I just needed to bring that up right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. On behalf of my home state, I think. I don't know what's going on.
You got so much playing to
This
do.
is
Jasmine.
really
I think you're involved.
Back to the Wendigo version.
Some say
the hoax is it's Wendigos dressing up as Sasquatches in Ohio.
right. What?
Yeah.
So version 4,
Okay.
which is the most common, being an evil spirit this is the one that talks about the voice of the Wendigo that you just talked about. It can be heard in the wind and the falling snow, enticing those who listen with forbidden feasts.
Well, I don't know about all that, but alright, just kidding.
Forbidden feast like KFC.
But this version of the myth also says that even just being touched by the Wendigo can turn its victim into a Wendigo.
Interesting.
And in some stories, the victim goes through a lot of pain before actually turning into
It
a
starts
Wendigo.
off like they start smelling smells that aren't there. They start hearing things. Eventually, they tear off their clothes and start running around in the forest. And then that's most of the time. That's the last time people see them before they turn Wendigo.
The quote that I got about their transformation is, they start vomiting huge amounts of blood and
Ew.
convulsing as his heart changes into ice, as his body grows to 15 feet high, and his lips and some of his toes fall away, leaving him as nothing but a shell of a human he used to be, with an eternal snarl, long fangs, glowing eyes, and a lashing tongue.
And they rip their clothes off and run into the forest.
Wendigo.
Yeah, butt naked.
And they've been known to scream, "Should I stay or should I Wendigo?"
I swear to God, Alex, your jokes, I never know if you're going to say something serious or try to make us laugh. It is a wild ride.
So here's the thing. I was really curious about this because my favorite artwork of the Wendigo is the ones with the cool antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't seem to really pop up a whole lot in the actual tribal descriptions of it. There's a whole lot of anonymous descriptions where it has antlers and stuff, but it doesn't seem like the tribes really subscribe to that. So just throwing that out there.
Because sometimes, usually, so all the descriptions is usually like kind of like basically a zombie, like
Yeah.
like
That's
a
what I
emaciated
wrote.
zombie.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
But in like popular culture, it's almost
Right.
like a what, a deer head.
yeah,
It's
it's
like a
stag
deer-headed,
head, yeah.
with like no skin,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
Yeah. I had something else.
You had.
Oh yeah, as far as the ability to control the weather, the longer a Wendigo lives, the stronger it gets. Some to the point where they're able to call upon darkness, even in the middle of the day.
Ooh, that's like
However,
their final boss mode.
yeah, it is. But I can hear what the viewers are saying right now. They're like, okay, but this is fake. However, there have been encounters with Wendigo.
I was gonna say.
Tell us.
I was gonna say if someone's saying this is fake, is very insensitive because this is Native American
Yeah,
folklore, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
you should be ashamed.
ashamed.
1878. We're going all the way back.
1878, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, don't you know?
Cree man named Swift Runner.
Hey.
Oh, I know this guy.
He killed his entire family
Ironically,
and
he
ate
was
them.
very slow.
Was he? I don't know. He killed his whole family and ate them. And he had perfect access to food. He had a wife, 6 kids. His first kid died because of
They were
says-
starving.
Starvation.
it says cold. Oh, there we go. Because cold. But then he just killed the rest and ate them. Just
Yeah.
thought that was fine. And then when they wanted to bring him in, he said, yeah, I did it. But then he blamed it on the Wendigo spirit that possessed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put him to death.
At
So-
Fort Saskatchewan.
Yes.
So technically, I mean, he claims he was possessed by the Wendigo spirit, but he himself never turned into a Wendigo, obviously, because he was in human form when they captured and executed him. So, this is something called Wendigo psychosis.
Or it's just being possessed by Wendigo.
Or it's just being really, really
I mean,
hungry.
I mean,
Or it's all three.
Sure.
What? That's one of the powers. It can possess people.
Before it teleports back to its dimension.
Sure, why not?
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's just get in there.
Yeah, let's go for it. We solved the case. It's interdimensional beings that have been prying on us for centuries.
No need to look further.
Yeah,
in this
thank you for
podcast.
listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Jack Fiddler.
Oh, Jack Fiddler. He
So-
had a fiddle.
And he-
Fiddler wasn't the person who killed. Well, he was, but he wasn't. He was not the cannibal in this case.
no.
He was an
but-
OG Cree chief and a medicine man.
Hmm.
Yeah, and his brother Joseph helped him out there. Too.
Old Joe and Jack.
Joe Jack.
Joe Jack.
So they weren't the cannibals, but they were hunting
Wendigos.
Wendigos.
They were the Van Helsings of the story.
Dude, they're so dope. They like went around like it was the Wild West, which I guess it was.
Yeah, I mean,
And they just went around
yeah,
like,
in 1907,
you're about to turn Wendigo.
they had a crossbow.
Yeah, and he got away with, he killed 14 people
Ooh.
before they stopped him. And it wasn't even the tribes who stopped him, because they believed he was stopping Wendigos.
Mhm.
But it was like good old-fashioned white people here.
Oh, they
And
were
they're
being
like,
paid off by the Wendigo.
You can't do
Capitalism strikes again.
that. Capitalism strikes.
So, Jack Fiddler, Wendigo Hunter. That's the next movie we're going to make.
Yeah, he was 87 by the time they caught him.
Oh, man.
That
was
I did
old.
not know.
Yeah,
That's
he was
rad.
87, and then they arrested him, and then he killed himself. It's like
And-
right then and there.
And then his brother died.
3 days after he was arrested.
Well,
I thought it was
he-
3 days before he would have been pardoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joseph was tried and sentenced to life in prison. He was ultimately granted a pardon, but he died 3 days later in jail before receiving the news of this pardon.
So it was, you said 3 days later. 3 days after you got the pardon, or 3 days?
Yes, I think.
No,
Oh,
they knew he was going to get a pardon, but he died before they told him.
But
I
3
think.
days later, then what?
from when I think they made the announcement, or they were like, "Yo, we should give this guy a pardon."
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it sucks to suck.
Hey, you lived a life.
Hey,
Hey.
you lived a life.
Hey, you fight them Wendigos, it's gonna bound to happen.
How do we kill a Wendigo?
Well, did you
You
guys
kick him in his Wendigo nest.
before we move on to how to kill one, with both Fiddler
We're gonna move on to how to love one.
and Runner,
Yeah.
I think they were both involved with the Hudson's Bay Company traders. Did you read anything about that company?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
I don't know what
Because well, Hudson's Bay Company, I've said this 3 times now. They're traders. They're involved in fur trading and things like that. The people at this company, the Cree and missionaries, were all well aware of the Wendigo legend. And though they tried to push off this theory as just mental illness or superstition, this company has multiple incidents and documented records of people, quote, turning Wendigo, unquote, and eating human flesh. So
Dang.
Oh, wow.
this company,
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
couple
Like you said, Wendigo
encounters.
psychosis is a real thing.
And there's documented proof of it by this company.
By the Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's company.
you guys are a little weird in this one, guys.
What are
Yeah,
you
this
talking
is-
about?
I'm feeling so gluttonous and hungry and
Oh
empty
my
inside.
So how to kill a Wendigo? I didn't find very much. Well, actually,
I got
that's a lie.
some
I
crazy
think-
Well,
results.
you stabbed a little person in its chest, right?
Well, I think there's only 2. Well, according to some legends, they can be killed with conventional weapons like a club or a firearm.
Yeah.
But other legends claim that
You have to use special
Yeah,
silver weapons.
What?
I didn't read that,
Oh, yeah.
but you have to cut out its heart and then melt it in a fire because its heart
It's
is made of
icy.
ice,
Yeah.
so you melt it
I
in
read-
a fire.
One guy killed a Wendigo by stabbing it multiple times in the head with a conventional knife.
Zombie.
Yeah.
Makes
But
sense.
the most extreme one I heard, and I think you guys will love this, is you have to first of all shoot it several times in the chest with silver bullets.
Okay.
Then you
Sounds
cut out
reasonable.
its heart and cut off its head. You burn them both in the fire, and then you have to cut up the bodies until it's disintegrated, and then you have to spread the ashes in separate locations. Otherwise, it will reform.
That is
Whoa.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
It sounds like too. I'm like, all right. At that point,
Just at that point, just eat me already.
yeah.
I don't want chores.
And I also read that other legends claim a spiritual leader or a shaman can make the Wendigo go away with a spell and a ceremony.
He can shoo it away
Wendigo
with a
go-
broom. Get
Wendigo-
out of here.
Wendigo, go away.
With a Jack Fiddler, yeah.
They play the jack fiddle, and it goes away.
What?
So we've talked about Wendigos. We've talked about how to
Oh.
kill Wendigos. We've talked about.
I was looking into some sightings, like video footage. I found
Yes.
some interesting videos. None of them I don't think are the Wendigo.
Oh,
I
all right. Problem
watched.
solved.
I watched one. When I YouTube a lot of these creatures, I'm worried about wasting my own time. 5 real documentations of this creature, proof that they exist, and
And
I'm
it's
like,
just a cow.
and it's stupid
And
stuff.
it's a cow.
I watched one video of a supposed Wendigo on some dude's roof, and it creeped me out, and I stopped watching.
Dude,
Oh.
the Wendigo's scary. I watched 5 videos
Oh wow.
of apparently real sightings. 3 out of 5 I would say are definitely fake, but 2 other ones I have no idea what they are. But most people on the YouTube comments say it looks more like a rake, like the rake, the creature, the rake.
Oh,
I thought we were
yeah,
talking
it's
about a
just
garden rake.
It's just a guy with a rake. He's just a guy raking his lawn of leaves. It's like the Wendigo. Just stop filming me. I'm trying to clean my lawn. So these supposed videos. What does the Wendigos look like?
Okay, so this one. Okay, see.
Maybe we can post it on the Facebook.
Oh, I don't know if I want to give these people more fame than they already have, but
Ooh,
okay, so check
we'll
it
just
out.
Block out the names.
One that I thought was the most interesting was these 2 dudes. They were, for some reason, in the middle of the night, walking next to a road. and they had flashlights, and they were just walking around in the woods because for whatever reason.
That's
And
like
then-
their pastime?
Yeah, at night, yeah, sure, I don't know. But they walk, and they hear this noise like off to the left of them, and they point the camera and shoot the flashlight up, and it's basically like this emaciated, gray-skinned person, and it's like they have no body hair, their eyes are sunken in, their teeth are out, and they're like, "Oh, what is that?" And they start running, and I'm like, hoax. But that was probably the most realistic one that I saw. A lot of game cam footage came up. But those are all like things that like are associated with the rake, the creature, the rake, which maybe we could cover sometime next year.
And then we can do the iron and the shovel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Alex.
You're welcome.
I think we need to limit Alex to a certain amount of jokes per episode.
We'll have to start going over the outline more and start.
I'm over here like thinking he's being real. And I'm like, I've never heard of the shovel.
So let's check off the list. We talked about what the Wendigo is, where it's from, possibly where it's from, what it does,
Yes, it eats people.
how to kill it, possibly.
I forgot to. Okay, I have 2 stories,
Oh, okay.
and these are real, not real, but like they're
They're
actually
real, but
they're associated with the Wendigo.
Are these like sightings or?
No.
Because when I
They're
was
just
trying to find
stories.
information on sightings, I really couldn't find any.
Yeah, because I really don't think it's an
You
actual
don't
thing.
think
I
it's
think it's like literally just Wendigo psychosis. That's all I think
And
it
a
is.
myth, which I can obviously
Right.
it's a
Oh,
myth,
it
but
is.
like it's one of those myths that
Like a
have
Yeti.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly like the Yeti. Like it's supposed to be a lesson to people, and I will talk about that when you are done with your stories.
Right. So I guess the first one was the most dope Wendigo story I've ever heard in my life, and
That's
I
the title?
cannot find it for
Oh,
the life of me. If someone had a gun to my head and was like, "Find this story," I could not find it for you.
so this is the challenge to you, the listener.
Yeah. So if you can find this story for me, send it to me because I would love to read it again. But I'm going to attempt to recite what I remember. And so it's like this family out there in the north somewhere, and it's a family, a dude, a wife, and 2 kids. And like 2 boys, I think. And, or maybe it's just 1 kid. I think it's just 1 kid. All right, they have 1 boy, and
He's gender fluid, so he goes between boy and girl.
yeah, he's gender fluid. So they have this house out there that the dad built, all by himself, because he's a big macho dude, and he goes out to go hunt one day when the boy and the wife see something coming towards them at the speed of the wind,
Ooh.
and then
Sounds about
this
right.
big old thing arrives, and it's a Wendigo. It's about 15 feet, and it doesn't want to eat them, but it wants to eat their venison.
They're what?
Venison, it's dead deer, like
Okay.
deer meat.
Ooh.
It's called venison.
That's,
So,
that's like a popular dog food. It's like venison.
Is that a real statement or is
Yeah,
that another
that's
joke?
a real statement.
Okay.
That's a real statement.
Yeah,
If you go
that's
to
a
like
real-
pet colors, it's
Oh.
like beef, chicken, and venison.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I got
so it eats all their venison. Like it asks them for their venison, eats it all, and then when the dad comes home with like 2 deers over his back or something ridiculous,
Oh man, Paul Bunyan type.
it eats them eats the entire deers themselves, and it basically kicks it with this family for a year, and it doesn't hurt.
What?
It doesn't hurt them. It doesn't harm them, but it just the dad has to like double his hunting because this Wendigo eats so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, I think it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm bouncing, and just leaves. And I
What?
cannot find this story.
So it's basically Wendigo and the Harris.
But that's not where the story ended. Actually,
Hendersons?
the
Oh.
story kept going
Oh,
to what happened to the family after the Wendigo left.
what happened?
And it was like,
They never ate deer again.
well, no, they kept eating deer. But
Oh.
I guess what happened was like the little boy, as he started getting older, he would start seeing this other little boy who would come out of the forest, and his dad started teaching him about how to shoot bows and arrows, and oh yeah, that's the other part. The
Oh.
Wendigo gave him special arrows that would always hit their mark.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
dang.
like-
This sounds like the Wendigo's a cool dude.
Yeah.
So like he gave him special arrows to do this so he could hunt better. And so like,
that he could eat better.
Oh yeah.
right. So like this little boy, he starts playing with his dad's Wendigo arrows with this other little ghost boy. And you know, I guess like he would invite the little ghost boy inside the house, they would make a mess, and then when his dad came home, I think the wife died at some point cuz it was just the boy and the dad. And then
This is amazing.
yeah, it's incredible.
This is like all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how to take it.
So the
This
dad.
doesn't sound anything like what we've been
No,
talking
I know.
about.
Yeah,
I wanted
what-
to find this so bad, but I couldn't. So the dad, he comes home like several times after hunting and sees the house is a mess. He's like, "Who you playing with?" And the boy's like, "Nobody." But one day he came home silently because he had suspicions, and he heard his boy talking to the little ghost boy and playing with the arrows, and he's like, "Whoa, you can't be playing with those arrows." But the little ghost boy was gone at that point. But I guess it got really weird to the point where his son turned into the ghost boy. And that's where I stopped reading because it was like a really long story.
I think it's
Yeah.
a combination of many different
Yeah,
things.
I don't know. But
That's
Yeah.
wild. So basically, everything we learned about the Wendigo is wrong.
and that one weird story is the truth.
Yeah,
it
he-
is the truth.
You can hang out in the forest and give him deer. He'll give you arrows, and you can hang
Yeah,
out with,
special
with ghost
arrows.
kids. And
I forgot about the arrows until just right now.
what's your other story?
Oh, it comes from Reddit.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
called "My Mother Can't Stop Buying Bananas."
oh, I know this one.
What?
Yeah,
So
This is
or my
weird.
mother keeps buying bananas. So like
it's by the
It-
Chiquita Banana Lady.
It was incredibly well written, and to the point where I stopped caring if it was fake or not because he doled it out over several weeks. And if you are that Redditor who wrote that story, and you're listening to this, congratulations, because it was a good one.
Yeah, we'll give you an
And-
upvote.
So I did. I gave him many upvotes,
Cool.
and then actually as much as I could because only one per user. But
So you made a lot of different accounts.
so this guy is telling the story. His mom keeps buying these bananas, but no one in his family eats bananas. So they just stay there until they rot, and then they just disappear. But he's saying that he doesn't notice when they're thrown away. They just disappear, and then a new pair is replaced, and then again, nobody eats them. And so one day he gets up in the middle of the night because he's got like insomnia or something, and he wants to eat, but it turns out as he's coming downstairs he notices the rotten bananas, and he's like, well, I'll just throw these out because why not? Like, you know, like there's no use in throwing them away. Like, I'll throw them outside because they're biodegradable and maybe they can provide like nutrients to the ground or whatever. So he takes it out, and I guess there's like this hill just outside his house that leads down to the forest. And as he gets there, he starts tossing the bananas one by one, just like to see how far he can throw them. You know, like
He's chucking
just
bananas.
just chucking bananas, right? And then the forest goes completely silent, and he becomes paralyzed. And there's this like 15-foot tall thing, stag head, emaciated, it's just skin and bones, you know, and it comes out of the forest and it starts scooping up these bananas, these rotten, nasty bananas, and starts eating them.
Oh.
And it comes up to him, smells him, and then goes away. And then that's when, after it's gone for a little bit, he's able to move again. And so he becomes so fascinated with this thing that he starts taking all sorts of rotten food to this thing at night. And it starts eating it. And it only eats rotten food because he tried it with like fresh bananas and stuff like that. It doesn't eat it.
Mm.
And then I guess one time when it came up to him, it's got this like long bony tail. So when it turned around, it accidentally whipped him in his leg and like gashed him open, and it started rotting like immediately.
Ew.
And so like, and then I guess in the story, like again, it's fake because it's clearly not real, and you'll see by the end. I guess this guy has history of like cutting himself and stuff like that, so he doesn't want to tell his parents that he's got this big old gash because he doesn't want them to think that like he's doing that again.
Yeah.
So he kind of keeps it to himself, but it's like it gets so bad to the point that his whole leg is like rotting.
That's disgusting.
And like he can barely walk. And so one night he just goes out and like surrenders himself out to this Wendigo thing.
No.
Oh.
And it's like, and then I died, and I was like, oh, it's fake. So yeah, those are the stories.
That's pretty interesting.
It's a good creative story.
And it's called "My Mother Can't Stop Buying Bananas."
Interesting title.
Yeah.
Don't know what
Yeah.
you're in for when you start reading.
Yeah,
it's-
right.
it's
You're
dope.
like, I love bananas. I can get behind this. Oh my
Right.
god. What
Yeah,
the
I know.
hell?
So the Wendigo legends are kind of like what we talked about with the Yeti, about how they're more of like a moral compass and like stories on how you should act. Essentially, they're cautionary tales about isolation and selfishness and the importance of community. And I got this information from the Canadian Encyclopedia online.
Hey,
So it sounds pretty legit, but who really knows?
we got them sources, baby.
we got sources. But this is important because in the wilderness and in these parts of the world where these legends come from, human survival depends on cooperation between people and the sharing of food and possessions. So anybody who refuses to share their resources, especially in times of like starvation and deprivation, they're considered a monster. There's a historian named Sean Shulman who says that the Wendigo is seen as a symbol of greed in modern society, as manifested in capitalism and corporate consumerism. But the creature has also come to serve as a metaphor for the injustices that Indigenous people have faced in Canada. I don't know much about those injustices. I didn't go into that with my research, but that's essentially what the legend of the Wendigo really
Interesting.
means.
Yes.
And might I add,
Absolutely.
when I was researching the Wendigo, another similar creature popped up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's called the Waichuge,
I don't think I read it.
and it's a creature appearing in the legends of Athabascan people.
This did come up,
Yeah,
but I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it's in Beaver Danze mythology. It is said to be a person who is possessed or overwhelmed by the power of one of the ancient giant spirit animals. It's not related to a psychosis as with the Wendigo, but more related to becoming too strong.
And this is up north, like in Washington. Huh?
I believe so. And these giant creatures are crafty, intelligent, powerful, but they somehow retain their power despite being transformed into normal-sized animals of present day. So I guess they kind of shapeshift a little bit.
No.
And then this guy, Professor Robin Wrightington, he came across the stories while speaking to the Danze of people of the Peace River region in Western Canada. And they believe that you can become a Waichuge by breaking a taboo and becoming too strong. Example of these taboos include having a photo taken with a flash,
Okay.
listening to music made with stretched string or hide, hence guitar music.
Oh, what?
Yeah, or eating meat with fly eggs in it.
So I guess we're all.
So
witchy
basically, it's like, if you take selfies, you're damned to become a monster. You listen to acoustic guitar music, you're gonna be a monster. You eat at McDonald's, you're gonna be a monster.
Damn, I'm all of those things.
Yeah, and I guess they're pretty smart because they like to lure people away with their cunning.
Ooh.
And
Plus
and
5 skill points.
yeah, +5 arrow to the heart. And in one folktale, it is made of ice and very strong, and the only way to kill it is to throw it on a campfire and keep it there overnight until it has melted.
Mm.
You could say you could throw it on a cryptid campfire.
Hey.
Oh!
I think, I don't know, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we're coming to a conclusion. I guess, like Jasmine said, the Wendigo, more tales, like to be a better person, don't eat your fellow man,
Yep.
don't hide in the woods and get covered in snow and be a weirdo.
Don't be selfish.
Don't be selfish.
Share your resources.
So the Wendigo, mostly tales of caution,
Yeah.
but also there is a giant monster out in the forest that will eat you. and rot everything inside because it is real.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're cracking it right open.
You're now entering a parallel dimension.
That's a big pile of shit.
And okay, so if I want to text you or tweet you about my wildest Wendigo theories, how do I reach you?
You can reach me at Twitter. I am at AlexDaiKaiju. I'm also on Instagram, also AlexDaiKaiju. Yeah, so you can tweet at me, and I'll probably respond.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter too if you like. It's at Jasmine Mayw. That's JasmineMaeW.
What about you, fella?
I'm at Eli Watson. Or no, wait,
Oh,
that's not
a lie.
correct.
That's a lie.
You're
I'm
at-
so sorry.
Oh my
At
gosh.
EJ Workshop.
That's over. We're done. Restart. Back from the beginning. It's over.
We need
It's
to
trash.
re-record this entire episode.
Good luck with that.
You know, we're going back to episode 2 and restarting everything. You know what?
Yeah.
Scratch the whole season,
Yeah,
guys.
you know what? We're gonna be I don't know.
Yeah, because I thought this was about the Flatwoods Monster.
What the hell?
Thanks for listening to us talk about the Wendigo.
Yeah.
We're in our little fun winter series. Tune in next week for the
Something special.
mother of all cryptids.
Heck yeah. So tune in next week. Please give us 5 stars on iTunes. I don't know if Google Play does it, but what the hell?
Oh, fun fact, if you listen to Google Podcasts, you can change the speed that you listen to it.
No,
I don't know if
Jasmine.
anybody knows this, but I had a blast
Jasmine was like
listening.
paralyzed with laughter.
Oh my gosh, I was literally,
I was
change the
scared.
speed to 2.5. It is hilarious. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you,
We'll catch
everybody.
you
Have
next
a
week.
great night.